Good afternoon, ladies, gents and Pikachus. I wanted to talk to you about some of the things that I've been thinking about in my head after having read these books, studied really hard. Not just studied, but thought. There's two different things going on there. Studying is reading, inputting things into your head. Thinking is when you're not studying, when you're trying to connect the dots using your own intelligence. So it's not like somebody else has told you what's going to happen or what you should think, your conclusions. You have to come to your own conclusions, and then you have to decide how you're going to react, what you're going to do. Now, the thing that I want to bring your attention to, I want to bring your attention back a year or so to October the 7th, 2023. What was the major event that happened on October the 7th, 2023? Well, Israel were invaded by a team of Hamas terrorists. Hostages were taken, people were murdered, and it was the beginning of what will become World War III. I'm convinced of that. And the Bible agrees with its prophecy with what I just said. And it worries me how nobody is talking about this. All the big YouTubers who should be focusing on this, you know, they claim they know things, they claim they do the study, they claim that they have this link with God, God is teaching them and allowing them knowledge that they are supposed to be teaching us, you know, you and me, everyone else. Why are they not talking about this more? I've not seen a single person make any videos or comment or anything about this. But the point stands. Intelligent people who have studied and thought will be coming to this same conclusion that I'm going to tell you about now. What day is it today? It's the 19th of September. So we have 1, 2, 3, just under 4 weeks until we reach the end of that week, where October the 7th will have its anniversary. So we've got 3 weeks. And we know from reading the Holy Bible, we know from our study of the Quran of the Muslims, and I also know from my reading of the Art of War, that these things happen in cycles. If there's going to be a repeat, a vengeance if you like, from the Islamic community, the jihadis, then the day it's going to fall upon is October the 7th this year, the 1 year anniversary, and the day before Muhammad's birthday, which they celebrate. Muhammad being the prophet of Islam, you know, the guy who solidified the anti-Semitism inherent within the Islamic culture. And we know, we've seen in the news, Syria and Lebanon and other Islamic countries have been sending attacks our way. Christian countries have been getting it too, but mostly it's been in Israel. And the Islamic countries have been railing support, popular support throughout different countries based on a propaganda effort. People are that stupid, they believe these guys. Despite the fact they openly say they want to cut your head off and take over your country, they do nothing but commit criminal acts, harm society. You know, they're working for Satan, whether they like to admit that or not. Allah is Satan, we know that from our study. So why is it nobody's talking about this and planning? Nobody's going to be prepared, and it'll be another repeat of like COVID. Nobody was ready for those lockdowns, but some of us were warning of that. Some of us actually did put out a very public warning. We took a huge risk in order to do this, and were punished for having said it up until it happened. Then everyone went, oh, how could we have prepared? We never saw this coming. And it was the same with even 9/11 before that. People were warning of that happening. Nobody bloody listened. And then afterwards everyone was going, how could we have known? And it's going to be the same this time. October the 7th this year, in 3 weeks' time. Nobody has batted an eyelid or suggested that they should be preparing for the worst now. So I'm here to tell you, if you are wise, not because you're listening to anyone else, because they're not saying these things, not because you've read it in a book, or any other reason, but your common sense is telling you to. Wouldn't it be prudent to get prepared for the worst now? Just in case. Just in case. Maybe it will never happen. Maybe it won't happen. Maybe October the 7th will be just another day. Nothing will happen. We'll reach October the 8th without batting an eyelid. But if you're prepared, what have you lost? Nothing. But if you're not prepared, and it does happen, you are screwed. So is everyone you love. How can you help them when you're screwed? You can't. So I return you to the Holy Bible. This book has explicit instructions on how to prepare, when to prepare, why you are preparing, and what you are supposed to do after you finish preparing for this kind of thing happening. The armies of Satan attacking God's children, who are Israel, Christians, people who believe in Jesus. That's us. So heed the warning. Not from me. I'm the one giving you the warning now, but I'm taking the warning from here. That's where my knowledge comes from. My wisdom is this wisdom. That's who I listen to, Jesus. He is leading me to tell you, heed this warning. You will not get another chance because we have 3 weeks left. And I'm telling you, it's not going to be pretty, but it is going to happen. Something bad is going to happen October the 7th relating to the Islamic Jihad, the attacks on Israel, the international response, and how that global conflict is going to boil over into a world war, and how it's going to affect you. And if you don't prepare for it now, you'll be in a panic, in a rush. You'll be running with everybody else who hasn't prepared, and the shops will be emptied overnight. Everyone will be paying 4 times, 5 times the price of things. Nobody's going to have any prep done. They're all going to be terrified, panicking, doubtful, and they'll wish they'd listened. So if you don't want that to be you, I suggest you stop what you're doing right now, turn off whatever game you're playing, whatever music you listen to, put your fucking spliffs in your whiskey down. This is serious. Get prepared now. Don't waste a second, or you will regret it. And like I say, if you get well prepared and you're confident you're well prepared, then you can sleep at night. You don't need to worry. If October the 7th passes without a hitch and nothing happens, you've lost nothing. Plus you'll be prepared if something happens on October the 8th or the 9th or some other day in future. Unless you think that the rest of history is just going to go off without a hitch, you cannot be too well prepared. Considering the state of the world and the state of the leadership of the world, even religious leadership. Look at the Pope. He's clearly working for the jihad. I won't have a word of it for anyone who says he's not. And the people that are defending him are just brainwashed idiots. Ignore those people. I don't care how much they think they know or whether they're lovely people. Fact is, they're talking nonsense and they're putting you off your common sense response. If they weren't in your ear telling you everything was going to be fine, if you weren't watching the news and they were telling you everything was going to be fine, if you hadn't been affected by the news media propaganda telling you that there is such a thing as nice, friendly, moderate Muslims, there fucking is not. We know from reading this what they believe. This, and this combined, if you think about it, will lead you to this conclusion. October the 7th is going to be a big world event that's going to spark off a war. By the end of November, we'll see the fruits of that. Leading into March next year, it'll probably get even worse. So you want to be prepared by that point arriving, and that means starting now. Get yourself some food. Get yourself some warm clothes. Stock up your cupboards with everything you need, tools, medical equipment, maybe some alcohol, not to drink, because it has other uses. Change your locks. Organise security with your neighbours. If you hear anything or anything bad happens, you're going to be watching each other's backs. And if there's anyone in your community who is weak, alone, or unable to look after themselves, get in touch with them. Send them a letter. Tell them you are a Christian that lives on their road, and if anything bad happens in future, you will be there for them. If you are a Christian, you'll listen to this warning and you will act. Not because I'm telling you to, because your head and your heart is responding to God telling you to. And if you ignore those messages, you've got no one to blame but yourself. So anyway, I've got work to do. I've got to get on with my study, making more videos in future. But please, I beg you, listen to this warning. And like I say, if you're prepared and nothing happens, you've lost nothing. If something happens and you're not prepared, you'll lose everything. Don't let that happen to you or the people you love. Alright? So that's the end of this video. God bless you all. Hope you enjoyed this and you learnt something, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now. And just keep in mind, barely anyone is going to heed this warning. And that is why every time we have a crisis it seems so much worse. Because nobody was prepared apart from those select few. Make one of those people you, okay? And I'll see you next time.